Hello, everyone. Comes in. Hi. Just gonna wait a little bit. Wish I had some music, but I don't. But hello, everyone. It's nice to see you all here for another week of devotional discussion. And if you haven't watched the devotional this week, you can go to our YouTube page at the Link Media and check it out. It's called God Has a Plan. So yeah, it's really quick too. I'm pretty sure you could go watch it and come back before we're even like really into talking. What up, Chris? How's it going? How's your week off? Chilling, I know. Hopefully y'all are relaxing, getting some good rest in. Yeah, so just gonna wait a little bit for some more people to come in, and then we'll get going. Chris, if you could do me a favor, can you just kind of let me know when it's been like another 2 minutes or so? I don't have a clock in here, and my phone is my clock. So yeah, just let me know, so that way we'll get going in a few minutes. If you could be my timekeeper. Thanks, bruh. Yeah, so hello again, everyone. What up, Linz? I see you just came in. Yeah, I am just waiting a little bit. I'm glad we got all the kinks out earlier. If you saw on my Ariel Chanel page. Chris wants me to watch the Links broadcast. Thanks, Chris. I'm not gonna hit view because then I'll jack it up. But yeah, we are chilling, and we got all the kinks out, as I said before. It was like really bad and grainy. I was talking to people on my Ariel Chanel page, and I was like, if you live in the Boston area, can you please put out a petition so that we could get FiOS? Because this here, like, DirecTV stuff, it's just terrible. But we're not really going to talk about that right now. Yeah, so I will wait a few more minutes. Hi, Free Danielle. Nice to see you. Welcome to the Links broadcast this week. And so, again, if you haven't seen the devotional on Monday, it's called... Nope, that was the first one. The first one was follow the manufacturer's instructions. The second one was keep the faith. And the third one is God has a plan. So yes, we will get going talking about that. This week, really just talking about how this year it's an interesting one for me. It is one where God has called me to really take us. Thanks, Chris. Look at that. Oh, I was right on time. All right, perfect. God has called me to take a huge leap of faith and really, kind of take off, the like, I don't know what you call those, like safety wheels or whatever on my bike, all that, and really just get going for Him. And it can be a scary thing. I'm pretty sure you all could agree with me with that. It's like, it's the, thanks, training wheels. See, that's what I don't ride a bike, so I don't really know what those things are called. But yeah, training wheels. The training wheels. Time to take the training wheels off and be a big girl and ride my bike down the street like a normal kid. Yeah. So, it's kind of scary at times, because when you think about, the things that God is calling you to, and for me, God's calling me to a whole lot of stuff. And I'm like, whoa, God, hold up. But when you think about it, sometimes in our own minds, we start to look at it in our perspective, with our natural eyes, with our experiences, what we see around us, all these different things. And we're kind of like, okay, God, how am I going to do what you've called me to do? I really don't understand. I'm not getting it. I can't see how you're telling me to do this right now, because when I look at what you're calling me to, and I look at other people that are doing it, they're doing it this way and that way. And then I look at people who are, really successful, and I don't think I have the skills to do that. I'm not equipped. I didn't go to school for what you're calling me to. We give all of these excuses to God of why we can't do what he's called us to do. While looking at it, I was reading, and he took me to, it was 2 Corinthians first that he took me to. And I know, especially within, I'll just say it, within the black church, we kind of have our molds, because I can't speak for any other church. I'll say that, because I'm a member of the black church. But in the black church, we have these molds. So if you are going to be a pastor, then you need to be like this. If you are going to be an evangelist, you need to be like this. If you're going to be the worship leader, you need to be like this. And all these like kind of resume building things that we've set up. And God's like, no. That's not what it's about. And so, it was pretty interesting, because in 2 Corinthians, he was saying, for we do not make ourselves of the number, and this is King James Version. I'm sorry, I only have a King James Version Bible. Or compare ourselves with some that commend themselves, but they measure themselves by themselves. So it's the same setup that, we're now seeing now in the church, where we're measuring ourselves by our own structures and comparing themselves amongst themselves. They are not wise, but we will not boast of things without our measure. I know, Chris, leave me alone. But according to the measure of the rule which God hath distributed to us, a measure to reach even unto you. So basically what he's saying in modern day terms is that God has a sphere that he wants us to stick to. He has, his guidelines, his limitations that he wants us to adhere to. Not what the world is saying, not what our, physical man is saying, but what he is saying. Because when he is the one telling us to do something, when it's his plan, he knows how he wants it to be done. And he tells us that. He really does. Right in Isaiah, which we'll go to. In Isaiah chapter 55, verses 8 through 11, which again, it is King James. I'm so sorry, people. But it's okay. There's a time and a place for everything. And today place is King James. So he says, for my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. For as the rain cometh down, and the snow from heaven, and returneth not thither, but watereth the earth, and maketh it bring forth and bud, that it may give seed to the sower, and bread to the eater, so shall my word be that goeth forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the things whereto I sent it. So basically, that's what God is saying. God's like, hey, can you please get over yourself for a second and get over, your mental capacity of what I'm saying to you? Because I'm saying it, not you. You're not the one who called you to this. I called you here. So therefore, because I called you to it, I know how I want it to be done. I know how it's supposed to go forth. I know how, it's going to prosper because I'm the one who set the plan. It's kind of like when, you see people who go to work and their boss is like, I need you to do this. And they start doing all of these other things. And the boss is like, yeah, I'm sorry, I got to let you go. And it's like, what do you mean? But I did X, Y, Z. He's like, you didn't do what I told you to. Like, you started thinking of your own stuff and doing whatever you wanted to. I didn't call you to do that. I told you to do A, B, and C. I told you to mop the floor. But you want to go over and work the fry later. I didn't tell you to work the fry later. I told you to mop the floor. It's like, yeah, but I thought that maybe, no, you should have asked me because I'm the one who told you to do it. I would have told you how I wanted it done. And that's what God is saying, come to me, ask me. Don't look for other people's validation. Don't look with what somebody else has to say. Come to me. I'm the one who can tell you how to do it. So I kind of want to open it up. That was a, summary for those who didn't watch the devotional, and a longer summary than what I said on the devotional. But yeah, if you have any questions or any thoughts about God's plan, I have a few other things too that we could talk about. But I don't want to just kind of talk at you all. I want to have a dialogue. So if there's any questions, anything, good. Feel free to let me know. And I see those hearts. Thanks so much for the hearts. I want to, give a second, just in case anyone has any questions before I keep going. Alright, so I'll move on, and if I see any more typing or anything, I kind of wish it was like, this is random, I know, but I kind of wish it was like with iPhone, how it has the dots that shows you. How do you know the voice of God to follow it? All right. Thank you. How do you know the voice of God so that you can follow it? Give me 1 second. I will give you that. Where is it? So, first, in order for you to know the voice of God, you have to put yourself in the position to hear from him. It's like when you have a, what would I compare it to? If you have, your parents, you'll know your parents' voice because you spend time with your parents. They're in the house with you, if you live together, and when they call you, you'll know that it's them. In comparison to a stranger, when a stranger calls you, you may not recognize their voice. But your parents, you'll understand that it's them calling you because you have spent time with them. So you have to put yourself in the position to be able to hear God's voice, which is really taking the time to humble ourselves and kind of quiet our spirit, which seems kind of strange, but it's like, how do you quiet your spirit? It's something internal, but no, really taking the time to be quiet in his presence and let him speak to us. And he really will, and he will reveal himself. And when he is there, first of all, knocking, he wants to speak to you. He's there like, hey, whoever, hey, Chris, hey, Danielle, hey, Lawrence, I want to speak to you today. And taking that time to open up and put aside your way, your plan, your thoughts, your will for what it is that he wants to say to you. And I had here where, yes, got it. Romans 10 and 17 lets us know that when you are, it's kind of a, it's talking about faith, but it answers the question, because in Romans 10:17 it says that faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. So when you're putting yourself in the place to hear God's voice and you want to hear from him, you have to be in his word. You have to, in that time of, setting that time so that you can get familiar with his voice, is taking your time and reading his word. Because if you don't, how would you expect to understand what he's saying to you if you're not familiar with his language, with his tone? And I'm not saying, King James Version or NIV or Message. I'm saying taking the time to hear from him what it is he has to say, and whatever it may be for you. If it's taking that time of going on YouVersion and just letting the audio of whichever one is for, NASB, all of those, whichever one it is for you, for him to speak to you and for you to hear his voice clearly, you have to take that time and, find that. It might be the audiobooks, letting those audiobooks play so you can get familiar with his voice and you can understand his plan. It took me a while actually to hear anything outside of King James Version because that's what I was so used to hearing in church. But when I did read other translations, I was like, oh, okay. It was like, I get it, God. I hear you. I understand. And so yeah, that's what it is. When you hear his voice and getting familiar with him, it's that word. It's the word. So get in the word. You got to get in the word. And it's not something that you can say like, oh yeah, well, I read the Bible once, so I get it. Because think of it like our common day language. If you go to France and you're like, oh yeah, I read a French book, like, it's all good. I read that French book. It's Lawrence, whatever, it's in the word. But anyways, I read that French book. I could go over to France and I'll be just fine. But you go over there and you're like, I don't understand what these people are saying. They got different kind of tones and inflections, and I don't understand. Well, it's because you're not taking the time to really get into it. You can't just sit here and be like, well, I read it, I'm good, I know it. You really have to spend time with God every single day. And when you're in your word, when you're in your time of prayer, and every single day, more and more, you'll be like, oh my goodness, God, I can see you more clearly. Just like if you're over, like I said, in France, and you're spending time there, after a month, you'll come back like, oh, I get it. I get it a lot better than I did the first day because you're spending that time. So I would suggest, for anyone who isn't, don't think of it as kind of like a task. Like, well, I'm sitting here and I gotta like really take your time and get into it. Yeah. Are there any other questions other than that? I can also say where it will help you with God's plan is when you are spending time and really getting into what God is saying and speaking. Over time, you will be able to hear God's voice and recognize his voice better than you will your own fleshly voice. It will, like, the voice of God will quiet out your doubts, will quiet out your fears, will quiet out all frustration when you spend that time, because it will be so recognizable that you'll be like, wait a minute, something's not right here. God didn't say that, I was going to go up and I was going to, shake and tremble and have to be scared and all these other kind of things. No, he said he didn't give us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and a sound mind. And his voice will ring louder than anything that's trying to hinder us when it comes to his plan. And we will be able to walk out his plan so with so much more ease as each day goes by because of, his mercy and his grace, and we'll be able to keep going, and we'll see, oh, okay, God, I'm pressed towards the mark of the prize of the high calling. I'm pressing, I'm going forward. And these are the things that will help when you are able to recognize his voice greater than you recognize your own voice. And our voice, it's not, I'm not talking about that audible voice that we have for those who may not understand what I'm saying, but that voice of the negative and the doubts and the worries. And sometimes it might not even be negative things. It might just be our pride that might be in the way. And that, oh, I got this. I could do this. I understand. I already know it. No, God's voice will shut that down, and it'll quiet it and be like, no, humbly come before me. And it's like, oh, okay. All right. I see you, God. And it'll help us to stay in the right path, to stay aligned with him. So yeah, so that's something that we definitely want to make sure is that we are letting his voice be louder than our own. And I just kind of want to talk really quickly about something that I saw that I was like, oh, that's actually funny. I love movies, and I love using movies to kind of show me things at times, because I think God can speak to you in anything. He used the donkey in the Bible, for goodness sake. Like, I know we're not supposed to be afraid of things, but if a cat on the street started talking to me, I would probably run. I just have to be honest. But, he can use anything to speak to us. And for me, a lot of times it's music or movies. And I was watching the Lego movie. And while watching the Lego movie, he kind of spoke to me about something. And in there, they're talking a lot about the master builder. And, you have all of these different people who are the master builders. They're on the Outlands because they were, they weren't able to build the way they were supposed to and everything. But Emmett, who was set up as the master builder, or the special, as they said it, he was the special. He was supposed to be the one that was the savior, the one that was going to help them out. But when they saw him, and they're like, man, this dude can't do anything. Like, he's so regular. How is he supposed to be the special? How is he supposed to be the one that's going to do all these things? And in one scene, they kind of like glossed over it, but when I was watching it, I was like, oh, that's interesting. Emmett kept having an idea for a double-decker couch, which was really weird. Like, this ugly-looking double-decker couch. And he's like, oh, I could build this double-decker couch. It'd be great for this and that. And it was the double-decker couch that got them safely through the water where they were going. Like, they were all able to hide in this double-decker couch. So, with God, it's the same. It's just like that. The things that God puts inside of us, he puts it inside of us for a reason, because he knows the purpose behind it and what it's going to do to glorify him. And so even though everyone was looking at Emmett like he was crazy, this double-decker couch is what got them all to safety. So it's the same thing. God's like, hey, just because you think your idea is stupid because people are saying it's stupid, you can't listen to people. You have to listen to me. I know the purpose behind it. I know what this thing is going to do. So you have to watch me, watch my timing, listen to my voice, because I'll show you how and why in the end. And some things it's not going to be until we see Jesus. I'm convinced. Like, God, why was it that you had me do this? And it's like, all right, let me fast forward to 20 generations in the future. This is why I asked you to go and pick up trash on the sidewalk. And it's this whole, butterfly ripple effect that in the end will give glory to God and bring glory to God. So yeah. So that is basically it for what I have to say. I don't know if anyone else had any other comments or thoughts or whatever it may be for those that are on, but definitely make sure that you are trusting God's plan. You are listening to his voice. You are spending time with him in his word, praying, talking to him, whatever it may be, so that he can reveal his plan for your life. He has a plan for your life. Every single person on this earth, he has a plan for you. He knows the plan for your life. And it's a good plan. It's not a plan to harm you. It's not a plan, to give you a bad end, but it's a good end that he has for you. So, with that, thank you all so much for tuning in. I'm going to let you guys get back to your days or nights, because it's really dark outside. But yeah, if you haven't had dinner yet or whatever, I'm going to let you get back to that. If you are working night shift late, I'll let you get back to that. And tune in on Monday on our YouTube, where we will be having our next devotional. Share it. Let people know about it. Every Monday, YouTube, at The Link Media. Tell your friends about our devotionals. We're here every Wednesday as well, Periscoping. So I will talk to you all later. Bye.